Good afternoon, everyone. And I feel honored and very privileged to stand here on the podium and to address you on What If. I'm really very grateful to you that you have given me this opportunity to share some of my life's feelings, my outlook, and how really, I have embraced whatever challenges that has come in my way. My previous speaker gave a very splendid talk on what if. What if he was not a chef, to pursue the dreams, to take up the challenges? It was a wonderful, motivating talk. But I would like to speak in a different angle. I am exactly 60 years old now. So, what this 60 years has taught me, the ups and the downs, the challenges, the SWOT, the strength, the weaknesses, the threats that have come, and really how, with a deep gratitude to God and with the help of everyone, how I have overcome, I would like to share my experiences with you. And I hope that after the 15 minutes that I talk, all of you feel that yes, there is something called hope in life, there is something called sunshine in life, and there is always to a tomorrow. The future that is there, that is undefined. It is for me to write, it is for us to write. God is there, He has given us the pen, but it is for us to fill in the ink with which, the color with which we will fill up our brush or our pen, and we will sketch our life. So now, as I start, I take you back to 1947, the year the India was divided, the year India got its independence. Most of you, the students, you were not born at that time. As I see the young teachers also, many of you were not born, or you were just not born that time. And it was our earlier generation, our parents, who were the teenagers that time. So 1947 was a very important year in the history of our family. We belong to Bangladesh, the erstwhile East Bengal, which was partitioned on 15th of August 1947, and it had gone to Pakistan. So what happened? Overnight, there was a change in the total life of the people who were residing there, and they had to come back to West Bengal, that is the other part. So my father was there, a 14-year-old person, a teenager, a boy with a lot of dreams in his eyes, extremely good in studies, but having a widowed mother and small brothers and sisters whom he had to look after too. So overnight, they had to take a decision to leave all the property and come to West Bengal, that is Calcutta or any other city, living East Bengal. So imagine, what if that boy would not have taken that decision? That paved way for a new career, a new beginning, not only for him, but for his younger brothers and sisters, 6 of them, to a new beginning. So, coming now to the next stage, my father got him admitted. He gave the matriculation examination. He stood a rank holder there. Then he took up the economics as a subject in for his undergraduate classes. So there he went to a common school because he did not have any money. But seeing his results, the person told that you go to St. Xavier's, and the father there, they will give you the opportunity. So then went my father to pursue his career. Then he married. Me and my brother, we were born. So from childhood, we were taught that yes, be grateful to God and take decisions. Taking not a decision is also a decision itself. So from the childhood, no, we were taught to be very sincere, dedicated, and be honest, truthful, and do our work. It is not that our life also was also a bed of roses. We studied in a very good school, both me and my brother, and my parents, they tried so many sacrifices they made to make what we are today. So I studied diligently, did my master's in physics. Then I started giving the examinations for the jobs. So my pursuit, I did not pursue engineering because I wanted to be a civil servant. So I gave my UPSC exam, and along with that, I gave the bank exam, the insurance exams in the officer's post. So with a background in physics, I joined insurance as the assistant administrative officer, that is as a direct recruit officer. And slowly then afterwards, I got married. I got very good training, so I was posted in the head office of insurance, a government insurance company. I had a small daughter, so life was going very smoothly. but God really has other plans. We were planning to go to Canada to start a life there. Suddenly, one day, I was diagnosed with a very rare form of bone marrow cancer. So life really came to a very big halt. I was much younger. I was 34, 35 years old. I had a small school going child. My husband was in the beginning of his career. He is an IIT professional, IIT mechanical engineer working with engineering company, planning to go to Canada. What if he would have taken a decision to pursue his career and leave me to my fate? No, he did not. He took a decision that to bring me to Bombay and start treatment in Tata Hospital. Somehow things failed. So everybody said that there is no chance for Kasturi to leave. Take her back to Kolkata, let her meet, let everyone see her. And although they did not disclose that so vehemently, but the doctor also said that there is no point in pursuing any further. What if my husband had not taken a decision to pursue my treatment, talking to everyone in the world? I did not know of what was happening because I was too sick. All my organs had failed, and I was from here. My husband was trying out all options, writing to everyone in India, giving the protocol what the Maryland doctor had given, that arsenic, if it is developed, it can be given to her, and that can maybe a possible cure, because no one knew what is to be done. There was one doctor in a small town of Tamil Nadu called Vellore who responded, who said that yes, I am building a medicine on arsenic, but she has to be a clinical trial patient. So I became a clinical trial patient. I had a multiple organ failure. I had fungal pneumonia. I had lost my memory. I had lost my eyesight because of the after effects of this disease. But in that, and I had bloated. I weighed almost around 175 kilos. Nobody could lift me. So I used to lie on a bed cover, and four people used to lift me from four corners. Like that, they took me from Bombay to a small town in Tamil Nadu, 200 kilometers from Chennai, called Vellore. There the treatment started with that new medicine. And I was trying to help my husband and the doctors taking in that painful treatment. I used to keep my cheerfulness always around. That yes, God has given me that illness, He will take out it from me. So I will try to help the doctors by taking in the medicines happily, and I will help my husband always with a smiling face, never crying, and bearing all the pain with a very smiling face. So with that, it was a year long, 2 year long, 3 year long, the treatment. And yes, I'm very grateful to my organization, to the government, because they gave me leave. I was on loss of pay, but my job was there. That I knew that yes, if I survive, I will go back. Slowly I recovered, but no, again, God has different plans. Again, my disease relapsed and there was no other medicine. Then the doctor said, I will try with a bone marrow transplant. I am talking of 18 years back when medical advancement was not there. Again, my husband, no, what if he had not taken the decision? He said, yes, I will go for a dreaded thing like the bone marrow transplant. My brother had some problems, he did not give his marrow. Usually they take the marrow from a very non-diseased person, usually siblings, so that the gene matching is there, and they give it to the diseased person. But no, for me, no such bone marrow was available. So the doctor said that this will be the first one in Asia, the fifth one in the world, that we will take out the marrow from the person, from the living person, the bone marrow, and we will clean it and again inject it. So my husband again say yes. What if he had said no, I would not have stood here. So the transplantation was over, slowly I recovered. So this I am talking of almost 15 years back. I went back to my job. I was away for almost 4-5 years. Things had changed. And corporate world, as you know, is a very, what should I say, competitive world. But no, there were people who helped me. There were people who were against me also. Slowly I grew. I studied again the subjects, the changes that had come. I used to go and visit the clients. I used to explain to them as a head of the office. I tried to be very disciplined myself so that I can tell all my people that you have to be disciplined, you have to be sincere to your work, and you have to do justice to the salary you are getting. Company is like our mother. It is giving us the bread and butter. So you cannot cheat the company. what is happening around me in the world. What are my other competitors doing? There are right now 25 general insurance, non-life companies, 4 government and the rest are private. So what the others are doing? How should I mold myself? Because change is something that is constant. You should always upgrade yourself, empower yourself with the knowledge, and then try to be everywhere, take up new challenges, and say yes to yourself that yes, I am doing with a very sincere heart and I should be successful. Now coming to the another part of the story abhi bhi kuch baki hai. So we were all going on in a very sort of a life that was very cut out. I was doing my job, my husband was doing his job, my daughter was studying. Suddenly last year I got a promotion, and in the last year of my career they posted me to Bombay. So there were many people, and the change of the company also. So 35 years of working in one company at various level, knowing all the people, they also knowing me. What if I have again said no? I have to live a very balanced life. Many things in life which I love to do, like driving and all, I have to leave. Swimming, I cannot do because of my health condition. I love to eat. I was a foodie, but I have to live a very restricted life. But I really accepted that. God has given me back my life. I also have to give back something to the society. He has kept me alive for doing something for everyone. Sharoni, Mrs. Mullik, she has been my friend from 3 years old. So now we are 60 years. See, 57 years of bond and friendship. So I came down to Bombay, took up the challenge of taking up a job at a very senior level as executive director in a totally new company where people did not know. But yes, I was again true to my own self, reading new things, imbibing the new culture, trying to understand the people in the new company, trying to understand their work process, trying to totally be like them so that they feel I am also a part of that company. So I feel that I succeeded there because I always said that God, you helped me, and I was always good to people. There were people who criticize, but I told them that yes, not that I know everything. I will not know. I am ready to learn. But whatever I know, I must have the respect for that. So what I tell you students, always remember that as you give respect to the others, you will get respect yourself. So you may have a dream to become an engineer, to become an astronaut, to become a creative artist, become a painter, become a chef, be in the army, what not. But pursue your dreams, and then you see automatically it will come. I will end with a story. Before that, I wanted to tell you another thing. As I was nearing 60, many people said, okay, now you're retiring, so try to relax. But I said that till the last day I get my salary, I will go on working. And I worked diligently the last day, 31st of March, the way I had worked in November 89 when I had joined. The same passion, the same commitment, the same dedication. So never forget all these 3 things. The sincerity, honesty, dedication, determination, decision making. This is what which will pull you through. What if I have not been as diligent, as sincere, as honest? Maybe life would not have given me all the things that I have got. I'm very, very grateful to God for being what I am. And yesterday only, I joined as a Secretary General of GI Council, the General Insurance Council, which is the apex body of the general insurance company all across India, and also the reinsurance company. It is a very important post. It acts as a liaison between the government, the regulatory body, and the general insurance companies. So I am very grateful to the people who have chosen me, and I hope I can do justice. So there is no stopping. As long as I can work, I will give my 100%. Now I end with a story. What if, again, to carry on this. So there was a well in a village, and there was a farmer who was going by with his donkey. Suddenly the donkey was very old. Suddenly the donkey could not see, and it fell into the well. So the farmer was very sad because the donkey had served him for a long time. But as he saw the well, he saw that the donkey was lying way below in the ground. And the cost of pulling up the donkey and whether he will survive also all this trauma, that was not sure. So all the people advised him that you let go the donkey, let him die a peaceful death in the well itself. So with a heavy heart, the farmer also understood. So he said, okay, but I can't see him dying like this in water. So they advised that, okay, you put some soil in the well so that he will lie buried in the soil. So with great reluctance, the farmer decided. So the village people, they started putting in, they started bringing in mud, clay, soil, everything, and they tried to pour in that well. After 5 minutes, the farmer looked into the well to see what was happening. His heart was breaking because the donkey was with him for a long time. But as he saw, he was very surprised. The donkey has already climbed a certain level. So what had happened? When the soil was being put, the donkey put one foot on that. As the next part of the soil or the mud or the clay came in, he put another feet. So as the soil was coming down, he was making steps, and he was coming up. So the farmer was overjoyed, and all the other people were very surprised how the old donkey can decide upon so many things, to climb up and to use the clay that was coming as a hindrance to bury him, to use that an opportunity. Slowly, slowly they put in more soil, and ultimately the donkey came up, and it came up to outside of the well, to came up to light, to a new life. So this is what the message, students and everyone, I want to give it to you, that there is no saying no in life. Change all the threats, the weaknesses that come into your opportunity, into your strength, and march ahead. And remember, sky is the limit. 2 things only I want to say before I conclude. Number 1, always remember the smile is the curve that will make many things straight. So never lose your smile. That will enliven somebody's other's life also. Never forget to thank anyone, because gratitude is something which will keep you grounded, will keep you humble. And never spoil any relation, because relationships are very precious. We have come for a very few days in this world. Relationships are something that matter. It is very easy to argue with a person and win over, but it is very difficult to lose an argument and win over the relationship. That is what I have always done. I have lost many arguments. I have accepted many people saying, knowing that they are not right, I was right. But I have accepted that. But I have won many, many precious relationships because of that. So that has kept me going. So thank you so much. What if I have not taken all these decisions? Maybe I would not have stood here and spoken to you. Thank you so much.